Let me tell you guys about BellyUpSports. BellyUpSports is the internet sports bar. Go ahead and check out their website, www.bellyupsports.com, to read some great articles from great writers all across the country, from hockey, baseball, golf, soccer, you name it. BellyUpSports is the premier, not your average website. All right, guys, my personal favorite league, La Liga, kicks off this weekend, and I can't wait. Actually, technically kicks off on Thursday, but I can't wait to see how this league goes. The teams that are featured in this year's La Liga is Alaves, Atletico Bilbao, Atletico Madrid, Barcelona, Celta Vigo, Espanyol, Getafe, Girona, Las Palmas, Leganes, Mallorca, Osasuna, Rayo Vallecano, Real Betis, Real Madrid, Real Sociedad, Sevilla, Valencia, Real Valladolid, and Villarreal. The new faces for this season are Espanyol, Leganes, and Real Valladolid. So, and honestly, I'm very intrigued by Leganes. If you guys don't know, I'm from Houston, Texas. I'm a Houston Astros fan. And if you guys know anything about the Astros besides the stupid cheating scandal, Jeff Luhnow was the reason for the Astros success that it is now. He took over as general manager, rebuilt the entire structure of the Astros, built the farm system. So now that was at one point was one of the strongest farm systems in all baseball. But obviously the Astros won the 2017 World Series. Say what you want to say about 2017. I don't care at this point. Move on. It's been 4 years. It's been 7 years now. Get the fuck over it. But obviously because of that 2017 scandal, he ended up getting fired by the Houston Astros as well as AJ Hinch, and after that he decided to take on the world of football, which I just found out that this dude was born in Mexico, so he's Mexican, even though his parents are from America, but he is a Mexican by birth. So yeah, Jeff Luhnow, he also owns a team in Mexico. It's Cancun, but he also is the president of the board of Leganes, and he has implemented his system. The systems that he's applied over in MLB, he's also applied in football. In Leganes, I mean, they got promoted, so it's going to be interesting to see how they do this year in La Liga. And Cancun, they just won recently a trophy as well. So can this form continue? Can Jeff Luhnow do enough to keep Leganes in La Liga, and maybe one day we'll see them competing in La Liga? So I'm very much intrigued by Leganes because of Jeff Luhnow. Jeff Luhnow means a lot to the city of Houston. If you guys didn't know too much about the Astros, but there is that. So the storylines that I want to follow, man, Hansi Flick taking over Barcelona. Barcelona, obviously, everybody knows their financial situation. They almost had to do some maneuvering to get Hansi Flick his salary, but it's a very interesting situation for Barcelona because I do say with the addition of Hansi Flick taking over as manager of Barcelona, and this is the only way I can see this working out for Barcelona. So I mean, I've been very adamant that I don't think Hansi Flick is a good fit for Barcelona, but if Hansi Flick is able to apply his system, his tactics, which unfortunately I think marks the end of tiki taka, at least the old Barca way of tiki taka. I think that we're probably going to move on from that if Hansi Flick is able to apply his system, and I think that there is some beneficiaries to that. I think Robert Lewandowski, some of his best performance, his best year was with Hansi Flick's system. So I think that could probably rejuvenate Robert Lewandowski, and so that could be a big positive for him. I think the addition of Dani Olmo with Lamine Yamal, potentially Nico Williams, could be huge for Barcelona. And I think that would work towards Hansi Flick's tactics. I think Dani Olmo, in some sense, is like what Thomas Mueller was for Hansi Flick in Bayern Munich. So I think that 10 spot could be very crucial, and I think Dani Olmo is probably the right guy for the job. So like I said, if this team is bought into what Hansi Flick is going to do, Hansi Flick by no means is the type of guy that would stick to the Barca way, but I think that that's what Barcelona is trying to do is kind of move on from that, or it seems like it. You don't sign Hansi Flick if you're not prepared to accept that. Um, so it's gonna be interesting to see what we see from this Hansi Flick era. Obviously, all the jokes about the fitness of the team is gonna be out of this world, but I think the tactics that we're gonna see from Hansi Flick could be very beneficial. Barcelona still isn't perfect by all means, but I think if they're able to use the tactics, I think that there's certain players that could benefit to the style of what Hansi Flick wants to do at Barcelona. But I do say having a 10 is going to be pivotal for Hansi Flick's system. And I think Danny Olmo, even Ilkay Gundogan are going to be big beneficiaries of that approach. Having more of a significant role in Barca's attack. So I'm very intrigued by Barcelona. I hate that I'm hyping Barcelona this much as a Madrista, but obviously, I have to see this as unbiased as I can. But Barcelona is going to be intriguing to watch this year. Seeing how they handle their financial struggles and seeing um, how much they're going to let Hansi Flick apply his system, which once again I think that we're talking about not necessarily the end of Tiki Taka, but uh, it's gonna be the new evolution of steering from Tiki Taka. Like it's gonna be through balls, through the wings, things of that nature. Pace, which like I said, it's not necessarily what Barcelona's style is, but maybe it's time for an update for Barcelona's approach on tactics. Um, Kylian Mbappe going to Real Madrid obviously is the next thing to talk about, man. Obviously, it's finally happening. He's here. Um, his role is still to me kind of a question mark. I don't know what exactly is he going to be playing. Is he going to be a 9 or is he going to be on the wings? So that is one of my questions. Who's the odd man out as far as the attack goes? Um, or are we going to see Mbappe playing on the as the 9 with Vinicius and Rodrigo on the wings? And are we going to see a midfield of um, Jude Bellingham, Camavinga or Tchouaméni, depending on who you like at the 6 spot, and Federico Valverde. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this team is. I do think Luka Modric is going to be coming off the bench, uh, this year. More so than not, maybe have sometimes starting, but I think that we're going to see him mostly on the bench this year. But Kylian Mbappe, how they use him, how they implement him is going to be very interesting to watch this year. I can't wait to see that. But as a Madrid, obviously, but we'll see how strong this Real Madrid team is. Now that they came off a year winning the Champions League, winning La Liga. We'll see what happens when you add arguably one of the best players in the world in Kylian Mbappe, and how does that impact the team as far as who's going to be the odd man out. That is for sure. And then the other thing I want to talk about, man, is Atletico Madrid has somehow sneakily has been making some moves, man. They go and get Gallagher from Chelsea. They go and get I don't know if it's official yet or not, but Julian Alvarez is set to be going to Atletico Madrid. You add him, add Gallagher into the mix. Um, it's very interesting to see what exactly the approach is on the attack. João Felix um, looks to be all in for Atletico Madrid this year. So, we'll see what happens, man. I think Atletico Madrid is going to be uh, it's going to be interesting what they do because obviously Atletico Madrid's got to do what they need to do to compete with Barcelona and Real Madrid. I think Julian Alvarez is a huge addition. Obviously, he's trying to prove himself, and I think he's going into a place where I think he's gonna flourish very well. I think we're gonna see where we're gonna get where Griezmann's gonna be on in the field as well. It's gonna be interesting to watch. Just in general, just see how this team how this team gets constructed by Diego Simeone. Um, so we'll see. But Atletico Madrid is gonna be a very interesting team uh in this season. The team to watch this season for me is gonna be Leganes. I said all I needed to say, but I just want to see how Jeff Luna how he approaches La Liga. It's a different competition. The competition is a lot higher. So how does he adapt to how does he get Leganes to adapt to this league, and how what they do to stay afloat is going to be my reasons to watch Leganes this year. Player to watch this season, I'm gonna just say it is Julian Alvarez. I want to see uh okay. Caveat: if he actually does get, like I said, I don't know if it's official or yet, but if Julian Alvarez does go to Atletico Madrid, I will say Julian Alvarez is the player to watch, see how he does. But if not, I'm still gonna stick with Atletico Madrid. I'm gonna say João Felix. João Felix needs to prove his doubters wrong. He needs to have a solid season with Atletico Madrid and finally be the kid that we all were hoping he's going to be. So hopefully we can see it over there in Atletico Madrid. So those are I guess two players to keep an eye on, but both from Atletico Madrid. My favorite to win it, honestly, man, this could be one of those weird years where Atletico Madrid wins the league. I don't know why. I think while I think Real Madrid is the clear-cut favorite, and I'm gonna say Real Madrid is my favorite to win it, but I don't know. Something tells me it's just gonna be one of those weird ass years because I can see where there is going to be a weird shift, right, with Real Madrid of how they handle Mbappe and Vinicius and Rodrigo and all the big names that are coming in. How I feel like there's gonna be at least a few rough periods, right? And I could be wrong. I'm still gonna tell you that my favorite is Real Madrid. On paper, they're by all the favorites, but I also can sense one of those weird years where Atletico Madrid just finds a way to win games, and I think that that could be a possibility. So my favorite is Real Madrid, but I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised if this is one of those one-off years where we do see Atletico Madrid win the league. But I still think Real Madrid by far is still the better team amongst La Liga. So that is La Liga. All right. We'll head on to the Premier League.